Okay, we're on to the next step, which is balancing the crank, and that's by using the balance factor. This applies to single cylinder engines, and typically you're on between 0.5 and 0.65 as a balance factor. I've aimed for 0.6, and that should or possibly give me a sweet spot of 6,000 revs, which will mean I should have a little window between 5 and 7, because the balance factor, or when you try to balance these engines, they can only balance a small window. The way you do it is you take your reciprocating weights, which is the piston, small end on the conrod, work out the reciprocating weights, and then you offset that by addressing the weights on the crank. So this is a standard crank which has not been touched, and this is the one which I've worked on. I've added material using the MIG welder, and then done some lathe work, clearanced it. It's all been done. I'll show it in there anyway. This is clearance for the compression release spring, because it was just touching or scraping the extra material where this was empty. It was just catching about there. And this one is for one of the lobes, because it was too close on catching the crank. Get it to stop moving. It's just the pendulum effect. Now I have to work out the weight of this lot. $33 grams. The crank and the conrod are back on the balance. I've got my counterweights, and it's pretty much there. So wherever I take it, it will balance. And this is the added weight that's done the counterbalancing. So I was after 100 grams. I've got 97, 98 grams, which will actually give me a balance factor of 0.63 or 0.62, which is pretty much what I'm after. If when the engine's running I need to reduce some weight, all I need to do now is drill holes in the web and take a few grams out. So that's now done. So we have the clearance on the right hand side, the cam lobe coming round, and this is where it's clearance for, that side. And then if you pick it up, you've also got clearance for this side, just there. It doesn't touch, and there's about half a mil clearance there, so that's fine. And you won't pick it up, but on the left hand side, when the cam comes round, you can just see the rivet, and that's just making sure that the spring doesn't touch. That's all. So this is now finished. I'll start building up. Oh, the head has now been completely done. This has been refaced, And I've had to fill in the oil drain because where this is 76mm, the new gasket is blanked off anyway, but the oil drain literally, that's just an oil mark, but it just touched the firing, so I've had to block that off. And that was, again, it didn't really take long because all I had to do was machine an aluminium slug, push fit that in, a little bit recessed, and then TIG it, and then once I'd faced it all off, it was done. And this head now is 16cc because I've just measured it. So this is yeah, it's going quite well. Should be building the engine up in the next few days.